Right now at noon, a Wisconsin U.S. representative is calling for President Trump's impeachment after what he calls stonewalling related to unredacted Mueller report. And former White House counsel Don McGahn refuses a subpoena to testify about claims that President Trump obstructed justice.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now on this Tuesday afternoon. We'll get to those stories in just a bit. But first, a cooler day, more showers possible this evening. Let's head to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast.
That's right, Mark. We've seen more cloud cover out there today once again. And folks, that cloud cover is only going to get thicker as we go through the rest of the afternoon, along with chances for showers joining the party. Here's the Edgewater Sky Cam showing you more of that cloud cover. Temperatures are in the low 50s. We're at 52 in Madison. Winds coming out of the east at 16 miles per hour. That easterly wind bringing in the colder air from the lake. 50 in Waukesha. Milwaukee actually at 47 right now. One of the warmer spots to the north. Black River Falls coming in at 58 degrees right now. Now, most of the shower activity stayed to our south early this morning. We're seeing a little bit of shower activity popping up right around, say, the Lone Rock and Dodgeville area. But for the most part, the bulk of the action is down south once again, where severe weather is going to be possible across parts of the nation's midsection. While the severe threat will stay to our south, the rain is on the move to the north, Mark, and that will be impacting us as we go through tonight. We're going to time it out for you coming up.
And it's snowing in Denver, from what I understand.
It is snowing in Denver. I have family in Denver, oddly enough. They got a snow day today.
Wow.
And it's the last week of school. So it could always be worse.
It could always be worse. We'll see you in a few minutes, Chris.
Sounds good.
Wisconsin U.S. Representative Mark Pocan is calling for impeachment proceedings to move forward against President Trump. Pocan tweeted this morning that, quote, stonewalling Congress on witnesses and the unredacted Mueller report enhances the appearance of guilt. In 2017, Pocan was one of the first members of Congress to discuss possible impeachment, but said it was a moot point since Republicans were in control of both the House and the Senate. Now Democrats control the House. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has resisted calls for impeachment. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, former White House counsel Donald McGahn was a no-show at a hearing by the House Judiciary Committee hearing. He was advised by the White House not to testify in the committee's investigation about whether President Trump obstructed justice. McGahn told special counsel prosecutors that the president asked him several times to shut down Robert Mueller's probe.
We've asked since April about Mr. Mueller coming. But every time we seem to get closer to Mueller, Mueller just gets pushed on a little bit.
A Democratic aide tells CBS News Speaker Pelosi will hold a meeting tonight to update lawmakers on oversight and investigations. There's a rally planned outside the Supreme Court today to protest new restrictions on abortion passed by legislatures in 8 states. Many of the restrictions are intended to draw legal challenges, which religious conservatives hope will lead to the nation's high court to overturn the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision. The rally is one of many being organized by the American Civil Liberties Union, Planned Parenthood Action Fund, and other civil rights groups. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has formally introduced legislation to raise the limit to buy tobacco and e-cigarettes to 21. He pointed to figures from the Centers for Disease Control that show an alarming spike in teen vaping since e-cigarettes came out. The Tobacco-Free Youth Act will almost certainly come up for a vote on the floor. Back here in Wisconsin, Republicans who control the legislature's Finance Committee, that is, are set to consider portions of Governor Evers' budget that would create new prison barracks. The proposal comes as the state prison system continues to struggle with overcrowding. Evers' budget also calls for setting aside $65 million for prison worker overtime costs and raises for guards. That would bump the starting wage for guards from $16.65 an hour to $18.22. Republicans say they want to bump the starting wage even more to $19 an hour. Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this afternoon, more than 2,000 pounds of Vienna beef hot dogs have been recalled. The U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Service says they may contain metal fragments. The recall is limited to 10-pound cases shipped to restaurants in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana. It does not affect products sold in grocery stores. Ahead of Memorial Day weekend, officials are warning about public pool safety. The Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection reports more than 450 public pool-related injuries or illnesses between 2008 and 2016 in the state, and more than half of those had to do with pool chemicals. One sign would be a strong smell. In that case, DACPAT recommends a self-inspection using test strips for things like chloride, bromide, and pH levels as an added protection. If something's out of the general safe levels, let the pool operator know.
It's always the nice clear blue water. There really isn't that hesitation to think twice about what else could be in there. It looks very inviting, but just we're asking people to take that secondary step and just be aware of the surrounding.
Symptoms of chemically related illnesses include red, itchy eyes and coughing. If that happens to you, go to the doctor right away. And there's a new Irish festival happening this Memorial Day weekend in Iowa County. Irish Fest in the Barn is happening Sunday at Sugarland Barn in Arena. There'll be local, national, and international acts, including Madison-based quartet Rising Gale. Along with music, you can check out food carts serving Irish classics like shepherd's pie and Reuben sandwiches. We have more information up on channel3000.com. And tonight, the Bucks have a chance to punch their ticket into the NBA Finals. After losing Game 3 in double overtime against the Raptors on Sunday, Giannis and the team are hoping for a better shooting night in Game 4. Toronto's tough defense forced the Bucks to shoot just 37% from the field in Game 3. If they win tonight, they'll head back to Milwaukee for Game 5 with a 3-1 lead in the series and a chance to advance to the finals in front of the home fans. Tip-off tonight is set at 7:30. You can watch it on TNT. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
What do you put in your baked beans? It all depends on what part of the country you're from. Join us and we'll show you a few options. The other day, a few of us in the test kitchen were chatting about what makes really great baked beans. And as you can imagine, everyone seems to have their own opinion, which kind of varied based on where they grew up. For me, since my parents grew up in Boston, as a kid, I only knew about Boston baked beans. What makes these so unique is that they use navy beans simmered in a sauce accented with salt pork and molasses. Kelly, on the other hand, grew up with baked beans that started with tomato or sometimes barbecue sauce that was sweetened with brown sugar and had bacon in it. Well, after lots of discussion, we decided that today we're gonna make them Southern style. All we have to do is combine some canned kidney and cannellini beans that we've rinsed and drained, along with some chili sauce, ketchup, chopped onion, brown sugar, and a bit of mustard. After this is mixed well, we spoon it into a baking dish and let it simmer in the oven until it gets all thick and bubbly. What sets this apart from other baked beans is the combo of the brown sugar with the chili sauce. So right after the news, why don't you go online and get the recipe for our Southern baked beans so you can taste test these against the ones you grew up with. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a bubbling hot way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. It's hot, don't burn yourself.
Thank you, Howard. Highs are only reaching the 50s today with showers possible tonight, but the sun is supposed to return for a warmer day tomorrow. Chris Reese will have your first alert forecast coming up. All 650 Dress Barn stores across the nation will eventually go out of business, according to its parent company, Ascena Retail Group. In our area, that includes locations at Easttown Mall, Johnson Creek, and Baraboo. Dress Barn has been in business since 1962, but the clothing chain has been in the red for a while. The timeline for when those closures will happen is unclear. Well, the wet weather is causing a drop in sales for a home improvement chain. Diane King Hall has more in today's Money Watch report.
The consumer is in focus this week with a slew of retailers reporting quarterly results. And Home Depot's out with its numbers showing customers spent more despite a damp start to the season. The nation's biggest home improvement chain says profit topped $2.5 billion on sales of more than $26 billion. Customers spent a little more than $67 on average per visit. American Airlines is suing 2 unions representing its mechanics. It's an effort to end an alleged work slowdown, the airline said could worsen delays and cancellations during the coming summer travel season. American alleges unions are coordinating action to slow repair work to gain leverage in contract talks. The president of the Transport Workers Union denies that workers are engaging in a slowdown. Whole Foods joins the wave of companies ditching plastic straws. The natural foods grocer says it will no longer offer plastic straws at any of its stores in the U.S., UK, and Canada beginning in July. Instead, it will switch to paper straws. And this year is expected to be another record for summer travel. According to Airlines for America, more than 257 million people will fly the friendly skies between June 1st and August 31st. That amounts to nearly 3 million travelers a day. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
Diane, thank you. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is up 138 points, the NASDAQ up 81, and the S&P 500 gaining almost 23 points. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this chilly Tuesday.
Honestly, snow in Denver,
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, doesn't that put a nice bow on what we've been living with for the past few weeks. And it's really starting to be felt here in Wisconsin, Mark. The latest crop progress report that came out yesterday afternoon shows just 35% of Wisconsin's corn crop is in the ground. That is 11 days behind our 5-year average. We've only got 12% of our soybeans in the ground. That's 10 days behind our 5-year average. So we are really lagging behind. And with Chris's forecast calling for more wet weather and more cool conditions, that's not where the bad news ends as far as Wisconsin agriculture. Ryan Prelwitz from Vines and Rush's vineyard up in Ripon said that there's still a lot of question marks on just exactly how their grapevines came through the winter. Now we're getting reports from the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service that across the state, 25% of our Wisconsin alfalfa fields suffered severe winter kill damage, 18% moderate damage, 17% light damage. Dr. Dan Undersander, our forage specialist, retired, says really there's not much farmers can do about the alfalfa right now. Maybe put on a little extra fertilizer when you can get out there and look for volume instead of quality, because we're at 70-year lows when it comes to reserves of alfalfa. And of course, that's what our dairy farmers rely on to feed their dairy cows. So not good at all. And I'm afraid it's not getting any better with that weather. Our Wisconsin dairy producers are holding their own as far as milk production. The April figures are out. Wisconsin's milk production basically flat. We have 4,000 fewer cows in the state than we did a year ago, but each one of those cows producing about 15 pounds of milk more this year than last. Every one of the beautiful bovines you see out there, on average, producing about 172 gallons of milk each every month. Today, barrel cheese was down 2 1/4 at 160 1/4. 40-pound block cheese up 3/4 cent at 168. Double A butter down 1 1/4 today, 2.32 3/4 per pound. So a lot of farmers now starting to look at their options when it comes to crop insurance, prevent plant, some of those mechanisms, those safety nets, shall we say, Mark, because it doesn't sound like Chris is going to rub the magic wand or the crystal ball and get us any dry weather soon.
It doesn't look like it. We'll see what he has to say. Thank you, Pam. Chris is here now with the crystal ball.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop rubbing the crystal ball, because it seems like every time I do so, Mother Nature says, all right, if you want to play that game, here's more rain. But I want to start out with where the weather was probably less than ideal compared to what we've been dealing with. That, folks, is the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. We've been watching snow. This is the past 18 hours over the Denver metro. Watch how we've seen walls of snow essentially just work their way from south towards the north and then back again from the west. If you didn't hear me say it earlier in the day, parts of Denver got a snow day today, and it's their last week of school. They're supposed to get out on Friday, but some family members in Denver told me they're dealing with 8 inches of snow this morning. Then we work our way over towards the east. Now we're in the nation's midsection. You're talking northern Missouri into northern Arkansas into southern Missouri. This is where we have a tornado watch right now, several rounds of showers and thunderstorms coming through. We dealt with flooding and severe storms back through Oklahoma and Texas. And again, these areas are being outlined for the threat of severe weather as we go into today. Then we move towards the north. Here we are in Wisconsin, say hello home, and we do have a threat for some thunderstorms. The good news is they are not expected to be severe or flood producers at this time. Now we're seeing a few showers try to work their way north of the state line over the past couple of hours. A lot of these aren't truly heavy rain producers. They may even struggle to reach the ground just a little bit, but we know the cloud cover is certainly out there. We've seen that cloud cover since yesterday. It's around again today, and that cloud cover is going to be thickening up. In the meantime, what's actually kept the air just a little bit drier is we have winds coming off the lake out of the east right now, and that's why a lot of the rain has stayed to our south. But as we go through the rest of tonight, a warm front comes through, and that's going to bring greater chances for rain. So in the meantime, 52, winds coming out of the east at 16 miles per hour. Expect that to continue for the next couple of hours. Temperatures are actually going to stay very steady with that cloud cover and those chances for rain as we go through the next 12 hours. But watch what happens. Watch how the showers and storms begin to develop, mainly between 10 o'clock and midnight. You might hear a few rumbles of thunder. And again, I do not suspect any of these storms to be severe, folks. Though if the lightning strikes really close to you, it's certainly going to get loud. We'll see a few showers overnight. This is 6 a.m. Wednesday morning. Temperatures near 50 with lingering cloud cover. But then watch what happens. That all lifts towards the north. We see some sunshine Wednesday afternoon and temperatures into the upper 70s. That's certainly something to enjoy. We may see another rain chance, though, Wednesday night into Thursday. So overall, the storms that are expected to come through will again be very general. We are not expecting any severe weather out of that, but I can't rule out some gusty winds at times. Once that system moves on towards the north and east, we'll see another system arriving by Friday. This one tracking to our north. We might see a tail of showers and thunderstorms towards the south of that, stretching from southern Wisconsin back towards the Texas Panhandle. Those at this time do have the potential to be severe. So that's the next day that we're actually keeping a close eye on when it comes to the weather. But otherwise, check out the temperatures, folks. I mean, 81 on Thursday. This warm front that's coming in tonight and into tomorrow really does mean some business. It's going to be warming up those temperatures quite a bit. Saturday looks fantastic. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s with some sunshine, and that sunshine lingers into Sunday as well. It's not until Sunday night that that rain chance comes back in. Now, unfortunately, if you do have outdoor plans on Memorial Day, we are looking at rain chances that day. But of course, we have several days to keep you guys up to date on how that may change.
It always seems to rain on Memorial Day.
Yeah, that does seem to be a thing. Last year, though, on Memorial Day, it was extremely hot. We had temperatures in the 90s.
Yeah, we had a big hot spell.
Yes, we did.
You brought it with you.
I did, but not this year, apparently.
You've been here. It's worn off. Thanks, Chris. Coming up in Indiana, boy is stepping up to help his grandfather get a heart transplant. We'll share how he's raising money next. A young Indiana boy is raising money to help pay his grandfather's medical expenses. How his popcorn sales are helping pay for a heart transplant. Bree Issam has the story.
Owen Holmes definitely has a love for Shirley's popcorn.
We tried it and it was really good. I started out with the dark salted caramel.
But this popcorn has a different meaning to him now. Holmes sells this popcorn to raise money for his grandpa's heart transplant. Holmes has always had a strong relationship with his grandfather.
When I was younger, when I went to his house, we'd always make model rockets and then go launch them in the park.
So when he found out his grandfather was going to undergo open heart surgery,
It hit me. I need to do something.
Holmes' mom reached out to Shirley's Popcorn to see if the business could help make Owen's fundraiser become a reality. When they agreed, Mom posted about the fundraiser on Facebook, and it worked out better than anyone hoped.
When I first started, I was just hoping for just $100 and just give my grandpa a little check.
Now he's raised about $300 and has a goal of $500. Holmes goes to Shirley's every day after school to pick up loads of popcorn to deliver.
I think this is totally awesome what Owen is doing. And it's, how he came up with the idea, it's just great. And he's doing an awesome job.
Holmes says he'll keep on fundraising with this popcorn until he reaches his goal.
I just hope we're able to make it through, and I just hope we'll be able to make more model rockets again still. That was one of my biggest memories.
Good for him. All right, Chris, over in the Weather Center, a warm-up on the way.
A warm-up is on the way. Of course, things are very cloudy right now. That's a live look at Platteville, just showing you the cloud cover that's out there, but we will see those rain chances increasing as we go through the rest of this afternoon, especially into the evening. I'm thinking between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock is where we're going to see the best chance of rain roll on through from west to east. 77 on Wednesday, 81 on Thursday, staying in the 70s through the weekend, and really, get this, through the rest of the forecast. But of course, the weather pattern does remain active in the meantime.
It is springtime in Wisconsin. All right, Chris, thank you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.